Thank you all so much for being here. I'm so excited to have you. We are well into January 2023, but we would be remiss to not celebrate all the hard work we did at the end of 2022. So you are here as part of the Drive Leader Celebration event, and we are so excited to have you. My name is Evelyn Huynh. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I do community outreach and membership here at Family Giving Tree. Just so you all know, this celebration event is being recorded to be shared out at a later date. Feel free to use the chat and make sure your messages are going out to everyone so you can interact with each other. Make use of those celebration emotes. They're there for you to use, so use them. I would love it if you would all introduce yourselves. I want to know who's out there. What group are you with? Share your pronouns if you're comfortable, and give me a highlight of 2023 so far. What is like the best thing that has happened to you to date in the first 19 days of January? I want to know. Let's start with some positivity, right? While you're throwing all of that into the chat, I would love to actually open up this celebration with a land acknowledgement. We work and gather remotely and in person on the unceded lands of the Muwekma Ohlone people. We acknowledge the Ohlone community, their elders, both past and present, as well as future generations. We also acknowledge that it was founded upon exclusions and erasures of many Indigenous peoples, including those whose land our organization is located. This acknowledgement demonstrates a commitment to the process of working to dismantle the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism and the trauma of dispossession, and to respecting and enhancing Indigenous sovereignty. We hope this encourages everyone to build mindfulness and intention in thinking about what it means for us all to occupy the space on these generous lands. If you're unfamiliar with the practice of land acknowledgement, please feel free to use this as a starting point in a larger effort to understand the histories and the realities of Indigenous people, and maybe commit to some change in the incoming days to come. I am going to share a few links with you now. The first one here is an opportunity for you to learn more about the Muwekma Ohlone people, what their struggles have been, who they are, and how you can actually help. And then the second link I'm sharing is if you happen to not be in the South Bay or the San Francisco Bay area and you want to know in which lands you reside and work on, you can look it up here on native-land.ca. So I really appreciate you joining me in making this special and important acknowledgement. And with that, we can now officially dive into the good stuff and celebrate, all right? And first off, the way we want to do that is I want to introduce to you our CEO and co-founder of Family Giving Tree, the most amazing Jennifer Cullenbine. Please, will you come and join on the screen? Yeah, you're here. Okay, Jennifer, you are going to take it away and tell people why they should be excited for this season.
What an introduction, Evelyn. You need a raise. So we, of course, a history here, a history that almost everyone probably knows already. We're in our 32nd year. We started in 1990 in San Jose State Class Project. And in 2010, we reached our first millionth child, which was one heck of a celebration. And then in 2019, we were helping almost just over 120,000 kids a year. 40,000 were getting backpacks, and about 82,000 were getting holiday wish gifts. And then you throw the pandemic into everything, and it messed lots of things up, including how fast we were going to be able to get to our 3rd million. But in 2021, we got to our 2nd million, and it's definitely going to be a little bit longer for us to get to our 3rd. Thank you, Mr. Pandemic. But this year, our goal was 40,000 children, recipients. And we actually made it to, Celeste gives me these little Post-it notes and I just carry around with me because they make me happy, 56,754 recipients this year, which is absolutely incredible. Again, that's 16,700 plus over our goal for the year. So we are celebrating big time. Really happy, really grateful for all of the incredible work you all did to make sure that people got their wishes in front of them, lists of gifts that we needed the most, all of those things. And then of course to our angel elves who came to help us run the actual warehouse. Bringing up warehouse this year was really interesting. So we have been borrowing 150,000 square feet of space, which is, 2 Costco's size of buildings. every year for a while now. And in the past few, we've actually not been able to find a big enough building. So we've been borrowing two spaces, two warehouses. Well, this year we were not able to find a big enough space, nor were we able to find two warehouses together. So we ended up doing our entire drive in one little building. So we now know it is possible to do the Family Giving Tree Wish Drive in a 50,000 square foot building. So looking forward, what we hope to do is to get a building where I'm praying that someone is going to donate a building to us, and even 35,000 square feet at this point. I think we could make this work because we can go vertical, right? Use the space, not just the floor, but go up. So we are hoping to be able to get into our own space in the next few years. So more on that later. And that is really our biggest challenge, right? Every year having to borrow a space to use for each of those two drives, move in, set everything up, do the drive, and then move out of it in a period of 4 to 6 weeks is kind of insane. So we're definitely looking forward to the day when we have our own space. And then anyone who came into the warehouse last year or this year that might have taken a look around at the incoming space where we were greeting our drive leaders and welcoming them and unloading their cars and trucks. That's our incoming space. We had RFID towers. So we had two big yellow towers, and we had little stickers on the back of most of our wish cards. And when your gifts came through that doorway, we actually got messages on our computer about how many gifts had just arrived. And so that is our investment in our new technology. We tried barcodes for a while, did not work, couldn't get barcodes read fast enough, and we just had a horrible backlog, and we said we can't have drive leaders lined up down the road to drop off their gifts. So we switched to RFID, and this was our second year of really implementing it, and was really awesome. So hopefully by next year we will have such a good response with our RFID stickers. We'll know exactly which gifts came back into the building. So we're going to be able to start tailoring our purchasing to better match what our drive leaders and their employees and their donors have been able to donate. So for example, 85% of the Barbies with Barbie cars, those wishes were fulfilled this year. 85% of those gifts came back in, but only 15% of was a STEM toy for a toddler, and I can't remember what it was called, but only 15% of those came back with gifts attached to them. So now we know next year when we're buying our holiday gifts, we need to buy a lot more of those STEM toys. So anyway, that's how we'll be using our technology. So I just wanted to share a little bit about the background for all of you. And thank you again for all of your time and attention and your love and dedication helping this wonderful, wonderful drive. Thank you very, very much. And Evelyn, back to you.
Thank you so much. We're so appreciative of all the heart that you put into the drive, to this organization, and we really could not have done it without you. So Jennifer, you are amazing. Okay, so up next, hopefully everything works. I would like to invite Shelene to the video here. Yay, step one. Okay, I love it. I cannot tell you how excited I am to have you here and to talk to you one-on-one and introduce you to all of the folks here. So be sure you unmute your computer, and then I would love for you to tell us who you are and talk to us a little bit about Youth Utilizing Power and Praise.
Awesome. Well, Evelyn, thank you so much for having me here on today. It is definitely a remarkable opportunity to be able to share my personal experience and also my experience as an executive director, and our collaboration and partnership with with Family Giving Tree. So Youth Utilizing Power and Praise organization is an organization that was founded over 20 years ago, and it creates cross-cultural networks that enhance the whole being through performing arts, fine arts, public speaking, and sports, with an emphasis on the demographic of ages 6 to 25.
That is amazing. And you speak to my soul when you talk about performing arts, because that is just what I live and breathe. So
Absolutely.
Very, very excited for that. So tell us more about you. How did you even dive into leading this organization? How did you get into Family Giving Tree work? Where did that come from?
Sure. So I was born into a musical and arts family. My grandmother was well known in San Francisco, California, as a choral director for some actual recording artists that have went on to do amazing things in the world. And my father used to be an R&B singer, recorded with some names that I'm sure everyone on here would know before he then became he went from an R&B person and doing a lot of music to then a pastor. So he still sings, but a different world. So being brought up in that particular setting, I was always exposed to the arts. And so as a result, I went on to become a singer. I actually got a Bachelor of Arts from Santa Clara University. Woo! And in music, and a master's in management with public administration as my focus. And since I was a young child, watching my father and my family serve the less fortunate and being a part of that as young as, I think my youngest memory can be about 4 or 5 years of age, getting in my father's truck and watching as he took bread out throughout the community, and as people knew him and loved him as the bread man. So he would bring all different types of bread. And then if he got anything else, they were getting that. And so being a part of that type of family and being exposed to giving at a very young age definitely cultivated that desire in me. So if you marry the arts plus this whole philanthropy part, out of that, YUPP organization was birthed.
I love it. That's amazing. I so appreciate that background. And we really should have booked you to sing, is what we should have done here.
I would get shy.
Oh, come on. Shy is not in your vocabulary. Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about the young artists that you support? Where do they come from? What do they like?
Great question. So our youth come from all over the greater Bay Area. Currently, we're actually having a conference within our organization this whole weekend, and we have participants that are signed up from San Jose, Santa Clara, Stockton, Sacramento, Monterey. And so when I say greater Bay Area, we have students that come from a lot of different places to be a part of this. And I truly believe the reason why many youth come to YUPP organization is because it's not just a place to come and learn about the arts. But the one thing that I say to each and every family as they prepare to enter is that we're a family. So all of our students know that they're going to be seen, known, and loved at all times. And however that comes out, whether it's at a basketball game or it's at a wedding, gosh, I can't believe I'm that old that I'm actually watching kids get married now. Or it's having to tell them, you need to bring those grades up. And mom said you're not doing too well with your attitude. That is the way that we demonstrate that aspect of family. And so we have seen students that have come through our programs over the years go on to do some amazing, amazing things, not just even here in our nation, but we've had some students that have went cross-cultural and went across the world with their gifts. So we're just really excited about all that they're doing, and super excited to be able to call Family Giving Tree an extension of our family.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that sentiment. So I mean, talking about the relationship between your organization and Family Giving Tree, like how has that relationship been? Like, can you give folks just a little insight into how that history has formed and how we work together, and how that impact has rolled out onto the young folks out there?
Absolutely. So I think our relationship dates back well over 15 to 16 years. And my father was actually the first person that brought us into relationship with the Family Giving Tree. We're talking about back when there was maybe 4 or 5 different gifts that would come through, and organizations like ours were just excited to get them. It was just a brand new endeavor, and it was just an incredible honor to be a part of that. And so as time went on, I began to also just inquire and learn more about what the organization was doing. And I think one of my greatest moments and one of the most special moments is when Youth Utilizing Power and Praise had the opportunity to write a song for the 1 millionth child celebration. And so to have some of our children come to that celebration and sing a song that was specifically dedicated to the family giving tree was just an incredible opportunity. Now, if we want to talk about that relationship, my daughter at this point will be 11 in 2 months. She was in my belly when I was serving, coming to be an angel elf at the Family Giving Tree warehouses. And we make great jokes about how they've just pretty much, my daughter and some of the other children that have grown up around the tree, they really are like babies of the tree because they've gotten an opportunity to see how giving impacts those around them. Now, as my daughter has grown up, referencing her again, I think it was 2 years ago that she decided to do her own drive for the backpack drive. She wanted to make sure that she could get a certain amount of backpacks as her own personal drive. And with everything that I could give my daughter in life, every request that she would ever have, the greatest thing that echoes in my heart is that she has a heart to give. And she learned that from the environment that has been created through the Family Giving Tree. And to date, because of the Family Giving Tree, YUPP organization has been able to serve 7,000+ persons across the greater Bay Area. So these roots run very deep.
I love it. That's amazing. And you know, your daughter, just seeing her running around the warehouse like she knows exactly what she's doing, you know, it's great.
Right.
It's great. Pretty soon she's going to be a trainer. So
right. We've gotten her up to maybe working efficiently for an hour and a half, unless one of her best friends that she has gotten from the tree shows up, and then it's all over.
It's all over.
No
Right.
help.
I mean, adults are like that too. So what do you do? Oh, that's so funny. So, you know, I want to know more about the art that these kids are participating in and putting out. Like, how can we kind of experience it? That first of all, I did not know that your kids wrote this song for the 1 millionth, and now I'm gonna have to go look it up because I'm hoping somebody recorded it and put it somewhere.
We actually did a professional recording. We took them into the studio and got it recorded. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Yeah. So share with us, like, what kind of artistry are these folks taking part in?
Sure. So currently they are offered classes in vocal music, drumming, dance, keyboarding, fine arts. We're introducing graphic arts and public speaking. So those are the main areas in which they are being trained and their skill sets are being developed.
That's an amazingly well-rounded program. I love that. How do the gifts actually play into this for them?
I'm telling you, it's amazing. One of the greatest things that I loved about the song is that there was a little boy, he was like maybe 4 at the time, and he did the hook and it said, "One child at a time, we will build strong communities." Mm-hmm. And so over the years, thinking about the outreaches that we've had the opportunity to do, one of my personal highlights is actually seeing a child receive something that is specific to what they've asked for, and is something that the parents may not have been able to provide for them, because many of our students do come from disadvantaged and underserved communities. And so because of that, there is nothing more warming than seeing this child running around with this huge Barbie doll, or running around with, you know, this Tonka truck, and seeing the parents just have this moment that feels like a sigh of relief for them. That's what has been brought to the plate because of the efforts of the Family Giving Tree.
Oh, that's really great. We're so glad to be able to work together with you on this.
And
that we will continue to work together on this, because you are way more involved with Family Giving Tree than we have let on. Because what are all the roles that you fill here? We've mentioned you have been volunteering. You are one of those tried and true old timer angel elves.
Yes.
Eden has led a drive with us, so there's been some drive history. What else have you done with Family Giving Tree?
Yes, like you said, I've been an angel elf, and currently I am also a board member for the past 2 years. So I've had the opportunity to serve in that capacity.
You are boss queen. I think I called you that once. I love it. I love it. Okay, so one last question before we wrap this up. What should we know about YUPP organization or about the kids or about you that we as the group of Drive leaders here, what do you want them to know?
Absolutely. If I could just quote the words to a song, and this is really what helps to put everything into perspective, the hard work that persons like myself and other nonprofits are doing, and those of you that are being a part of this effort of making sure that we're able to bring joy to these families and bring a sense of relief. If I could just leave you with these words from a song, and it said, "If I can do my duty as a good man ought, if I can bring back beauty to a world up and wrought, if I can spread love's message as the masters taught, then my living shall not be in vain." And so by you serving and participating and being behind the work that the Family Giving Tree is doing, you are helping persons like myself to be able to say all of the hard work attests to the fact that my living will not be in vain. Why? Because someone has hope, someone is able to see beauty again, and most importantly, someone feels a tangible piece of love.
That is beautiful. So I'm cutting onions in here because I love that. That is just really, really beautiful. Thank you so much for leaving us with that. It's such a wonderful legacy, and we look forward to working with you many, many more years, and I'm sure we'll see you very, very soon. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope your event kicks off well. We are letting Shelene leave early because she's getting ready for her event in a couple of hours, so that's why we're doing this interview so early on in this program, but we appreciate you, we love you, and we will see you soon. Thank you so much for joining us. You're amazing.
My pleasure.
Okay, so with that, I want to go back to some fun facts about Family Giving Tree and other things that we've been doing. And right now, I'd love to invite Jill to the platform. She will be giving us our development overview. So this is with regards to fundraising and all that wonderful good stuff. So our Deputy Director, take it away.
Giving and matching gifts. A lot of y'all know that the donations that you make, maybe your employer will match them, and that's been a huge asset to Family Giving Tree. So what I'm going to share today is we're going to talk about the virtual giving tree. We're going to talk about wrapping parties and just a little sneak peek at Back to School 2023. I wanted this slide to have sunshine because I don't know about everybody else, but I've been very happy to have the sun back and have a little reprieve from the rain. And so hopefully everybody stayed safe and had power during the first part of 2023. So to give you a background on the virtual giving tree, and if you're an insider at Family Giving Tree, we call it the VGT. So before the pandemic in 2019, roughly 80% of the gifts that we distributed were physical donations. So as you Drive leaders know, people come get the tags, they go shopping, they bring them back. So 80% of those gifts were distributed directly to agencies, and 375,000 was raised through the VGT. Then if you fast forward to Holiday Wish Drive 2020, I don't know if you remember December of 2020, but we were still inside our houses. We weren't shopping. We weren't really going out. And we saw a major increase in activity on the virtual giving tree. It went up. Drive leaders of spreading the word, even though we were in unprecedented times. It was important for families and kids and unhoused people to have their wishes met, even though we were in the middle of a pandemic. So fast forwarding to 2022, we're seeing a rise, not pre-pandemic levels, but a rise in these physical donations coming back to our warehouse. And but also Back to School and Holiday Wish Drive VGTs raised over $1.1 million collectively. So we were able to use that money raised for the VGT to purchase gifts directly from our suppliers and backpacks and school supplies. So because we know that the virtual giving tree is a powerful fundraising tool, this time last year, we were wanting to we talked about doing an upgrade in the VGT, and we survey our drive leaders and get their input and staff input on how we can really make this a powerful tool. So we launched our virtual giving tree this year for the holiday wish drive. As you all know, it was a bit of a shaky start. There were some unprecedented issues that took place, but at the end of the day, it was really a beautiful new platform. You can see some of the new features was real-time reporting. It had a sleek look. There's an admin portal. We also have reporting and customization. And now we're looking at back to school 2023. What are some more improvements that we can do for it? So as you can see, there's some things that we're looking into, and really just more and more, the virtual giving tree has just been a great asset, and really so thankful to drive leaders to really, you're the heart and soul of what we do, and we wouldn't be able to do it without you mobilizing your networks to help ensure that holiday wishes are matched. So one thing that also was exciting about 2022 Holiday Wish Drive is that companies were having their employees come back to the office. Maybe they'd be there 2 or 3 days a week, but they really wanted their employees to have events that they could come to and network and just hang out in person and not on a screen. So we saw an uptick in our wrapping parties. So if you're not sure what a wrapping party is, it's something that we offer our corporate and in some cases individuals who will bring toys and wrapping paper and staff and volunteers so to their facility, do an intro about family giving tree and talk about the gifts, and then basically people are wrapping the presents that will then go back to the warehouse. And the companies pay for these events, and that money goes directly to purchase the gifts so we can bring them out to the community. So in 2022, we had 17 wrapping parties hosted by 15 corporate and small business partners, and that amount had doubled since what we had in 2021. I think we had 7 or 8 wrapping parties. So it's great to have that offered to people, and it was really great just to see people gathered together in person and wrapping presents, and having one company had a hot cocoa bar. It was had cocoa and marshmallows and whipped cream. It was just really fun and a lot of sugar. And because through those activities, we were able to raise over $150,000, and that made 4,333 total gift recipients to through our wrapping parties. So big kudos to Margarita Galindo, who organizes those. And we also have some really dedicated volunteers who would go out to those companies and help staff facilitate them. And then looking forward to our back to school drive, our goal is to equip 28,000 students with supply-filled backpacks. And students are starting as early as August 7th. So as a result, we're going to be starting early on our promotion of the drive. But if you have a company that might be interested in doing like a backpack build or sponsor of back to school, send Margarita Galindo an email, margarita@familygivingtree.org or at fgt.org, and she'll meet with you to learn more about corporate partnership opportunities. And just wanted to give a shout out to our amazing sponsors of the Holiday Wish Drive. And they've just come through year and year. We've had a couple new ones too. So I'm just really thankful. I'm excited for 2023. There's going to be challenges, but if anything, I've just seen the strength of the community around Family Giving Tree and the drive leaders. And I know that y'all are dedicated, and it's just wonderful to see. So thank you so much. And I'll stop sharing. And I will pass the baton to our volunteer coordinator, Shannon.
Hi. Thank you, Jill, for that wonderful presentation. Thank you, Evelyn, for having me. I'm glad to be here. So I just wanted to hop on and say thank you so much for volunteering. And let me just, there you go. Thank you for volunteering. I wanted to give you a little recap of what it looks like, or what the drive looked like. And again, as Jill did, I want to look forward a little bit. So without further ado, let me get to the next slide. We had a total of 1,600 volunteers in the warehouse. Now that includes drive leader groups like you, and it also includes the community members that are like families, stuff like that, who come as well. Drive leader groups made up almost 630 total volunteers out of that 1,600, which is a wonderful number. And we had 112 different drive volunteers. So sorry, volunteers from 112 different drives joined us this season, which is absolutely awesome. Thank you everyone for coming, even if you were only able to grab those 3 spots. We really appreciated all of your hard work. You really made a difference. And at the bottom there, that huge number, 1,274.5 hours you all spent in the warehouse doing that work, wrapping those gifts, organizing those gifts, etc. It was really great to see, and it was great to meet all of you. If it was your first time, it was great to see you back again. If it was your if you have been here before, so thank you so much. I wanted to thank the drive leaders who had more than 80% of their volunteers show up. In the past, and kind of during this drive, we had some problems with attendance. So I really wanted to call out these 30 organizations and drives who really signed up, showed up. Thank you so much. Especially, I believe, Astera Labs, NetApp, who also was a drive sponsor, and I believe they also did a wrapping party. Codexis, and one more, I believe it was Boy Scout Troop 611. You all did amazing jobs. And even if you weren't able to make it, have 80% of your volunteers show up, we really appreciated you showing up. So thank you so much. Next, we have a survey. I can only better our program based on what I see, but also based on whatever you see. All of your eyes is better than just my 2. So if you volunteered, if you want to give us some feedback, please do. You can scan this QR code right here, but you can also look at or type in that link. If you volunteered with us, you should have gotten an email recently that has that link in it as well. So please, please, please fill out that survey. It'll take you 5 minutes. I know that you filled one out for Evelyn for being a drive leader. This is different, so only if you volunteered. If you didn't volunteer, but you still have something to say, I definitely want to hear it. Just go ahead and email me, volunteers@fgt.org. One last thing, what's next? So fill out the survey. That's an immediate thing that you can accomplish right now. But back to school is soon approaching. So please, please come. We, like Jill said, we're hoping to serve 28,000 people, and we cannot get those backpacks filled with supplies out to recipients without volunteers. So I hope to see you then. We have collateral preparation opportunities. That's like at-home work that you can do in May. We have warehouse volunteer registration opening in early June. And then we have warehouse volunteering happening in July and August. Those dates are kind of amalgamous right now, but you will get more solid dates soon in the future. If you have any questions, just let me know through my email. And with that, I will give you back to Evelyn.
Awesome. Thank you. Shannon is amazing. If you've ever worked in the warehouse, well, if you worked in the warehouse in the past year, you would have seen her because, you know, she's still one of the new ones on staff. But she did an incredible job. So please, 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 please give her a quick round of applause and show your gratitude for all the hard work she's put in. Thank you, Shannon. Okay, so we are almost through our event, but we still got a few things left to cover here. I wanted to give you the overview from the Drive Leader side. So I'm going to do that really quickly. And then afterwards, I will be inviting one of my colleagues to join me for an interview and you'll get to know her. She's fantastic. And then I'll give you a high-level overview of all the things coming up in 2023 from the Drive Leader side. And I've got a little bit of a fanfare surprise at the end, so stay tuned for that. I'm just praying it works. I wanted to share my little celebratory flute here. Don't worry, it's just water. I know Jess is here. I swear it's just water. But it wouldn't be a complete celebration without something, right? So, okay, so let's dive in. I want to show you Drive Leader summary by the numbers. So let's do that here really quick. Oh dear. Okay, Drive Leader summary by the numbers. I made this fun, pretty little graphic. I wanted lots and lots of colors, so you're welcome for me blinding you with a rainbow of colors. We had a total of 693 drives that were signed up for this past holiday season. Of those, 386 of them went live with their VGTs and actually got gifts fulfilled online for us. And then out of all the wish cards, all the gifts that have gone out, we had a request for 32,971 wish cards, and the total gifts returned to us that you all brought into our warehouse, one of our remote locations, was 24,546 and counting. We still have a couple of late ones coming in, but that is a phenomenal number considering I think last year we did maybe about 17,000. So we are slowly working our way back up and we're hoping to be able to crush that this year, but this is a phenomenal, phenomenal return. So 24,546, that's pretty cool. So I would love for you to give yourselves a round of applause for that. I think it rocks. You definitely kept us busy. You definitely kept me busy. We definitely got more wish cards requested than we anticipated. So we had to triage that a little bit and come up with creative solutions, but we did it. So hoping that this is a step in the right direction coming back from COVID and that we keep growing from here because our community certainly needs it and certainly appreciates all, they appreciate all that you do. So we'll keep rolling. 2023 is a year to continue to do better, right? Okay, so let me stop sharing my screen here. And I would now like to actually invite to the stage, the screen stage, my wonderful agency coordinator colleague, Celeste Delamore. If you wouldn't mind joining us, you all get to meet Celeste. So Celeste is a fantastic colleague who has been with Family Giving Tree forever. And I would love for you to please tell everyone, who are you? How long have you been here? What do you do?
I'm Celeste. I'm agency coordinator. I've been working at the Family Giving Tree for 16 years. Seen a lot, done a lot, been through it all. And I just want to give a shout out to Shelene for her fantastic presentation. And it's agencies and people like her that keep us going, and a part of who I am that I just feed off of that. And it's just amazing. And it just makes me work that much harder to serve the people that we do.
Oh, Yes, she's really, really wonderful. So what does it mean to be an agency coordinator? How do you actually work with folks like Shelene and those hundreds of other agencies out there?
So an agency coordinator, we work with our community partners. We go out into the community. We find agencies that help their community, that those in need. They help seniors, they help the unhoused, whoever it is that they help, kids. And we go through a vetting process. A lot of agencies that we help have been word of mouth through the years. There's a lot of them that were already with us when I started. And it's just been wonderful. We'll go out and do site visits and see what they do and talk to them and see how we can fulfill their needs with the gifts that we offer to them.
That's awesome. So how you've been here a long, long time, and you know a lot of the history of Family Giving Tree and how we've kind of evolved. So in your experience, like where were we when you started versus where are we now?
Well, when I started, we had a staff of 7, and more than half of those staff were in the warehouse during our drives, and the rest of us were in the office. Made it an interesting challenge. And now we have over 19 staff members, and most staff has been in the warehouse and done the work and see what we do and how all the magic happens. And I was a part of the 1 millionth celebration and a part of the 2 millionth. So I thought that's pretty cool. And you know, hopefully I will be part of the 3 millionth, depending on how long that takes.
Well, given our you know, how we've been able to grow over the past few years, it shouldn't be long from now, right? So
Right.
Fingers crossed. It all depends on what the community can do. So I'd love it if you can kind of give us a little bit more insight on how the Holiday Wish Drive actually works on your side and with the agencies. What is that sort of high level process? What does that look like?
So basically the agencies that we have a registration process, and we send out emails like, hey, it's that time of year. They all have to register with us every year so that we know who they are and how many gifts they need. We do an orientation, which I do. It's an hour-long event. They come in, we talk to them about what's expected of them as an agency partner, and then what's expected of us to them, so what we will deliver to them and how we can meet in the middle and make the magic happen. And then we have an online portal, so they will get a login and they'll go in and enter specific wishes. Johnny, age 5, would like a Tonka truck, and we print those wish cards, which are then sent out to all of our donors and supporters who shop for those, bring it back to the warehouse, and we do all of our sorting and counting. And then the agencies will come to us, pick up their gifts, and do their distributions. We try to go to distributions. I used to be able to go to them early on, but now that we've grown and there's so much happening in the warehouse, it's hard for me to get away when they're doing their distributions. But it's a nice sight to see, and it's very heartwarming to go and just see those kids and seniors get those gifts and know that somebody cares. I was once told by one of our recipients that she was a teenager, and she was just shocked and amazed that somebody who didn't even know her cared enough to get her exactly what she wanted.
That's so sweet. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the unique aspects of what we do is we're able to give them exactly what they asked for, and they have no idea where it came from. And that is part of what makes it so special, is that it doesn't matter. What matters is you, right? What matters is you, and that you are able to find that moment and that piece of joy and happiness for the holidays. And that's really, you know, that little bit that we can bring back to the community. And that's what our drive leaders help to do for us, right?
Right.
So you and for those who don't know, there's another colleague on staff named Evelyn. Evelyn H also. So if you ever get really confused, that's, you know, understandable. But Evelyn is also an agency coordinator and she focuses on the back to school efforts. But the both of you actually work together for the holiday drive because it is such a massive volume of gifts and a large number of agencies that are coming. So can you talk to us a little bit about, you know, what that experience is like in terms of like those agencies coming by to pick up their gifts? Like, how are they just like frazzled trying to get things together? Or like, what is that sort of mentality they come in with? What kind of comments do they kind of leave with you? And, you know, what do they share with you about like the impact?
So it's the agencies come in and they have their specific time slots. So they'll come, they sign in with us so we know who they are and we'll load up their car with gifts. And they're so appreciative. And especially if they've asked for them to be wrapped and the gifts come out wrapped in this beautiful paper, so then they don't have to, or if they don't want them wrapped, they can have their own wrapping parties and have their own volunteers help. But they just are amazed at the quality, what they're getting, and that they're actually getting what their clients asked for. It's just amazing. And some come from as far as Vallejo, Sacramento, Hollister. So they come from all over the Bay Area, and they're just in awe that we can actually give them the gifts that they need, and that every year it just seems to get better and better, and they're just more and more appreciative.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I feel like on our side, we really have been trying to focus more on bringing quality, right? Like we've really been pushing that idea of make sure your gift is between $25 and $50 because we don't want to bring a little $10 toy.
Exactly.
Because that is part of that experience, is that they are getting a quality item and exactly what it is they asked for. So that's cool. Vallejo is very far. So is Sacramento. And
Yes.
especially this past year with the rain. Okay, I love the rain, but I can't imagine trying to like trek through the rain to come and haul like hundreds of gifts back. How was that? Like, did you hear from anyone about like dealing with the weather?
I did. So luckily the weather kind of held out during pickups, and there was only a couple days that it rained. We had one agency that came from quite a ways, and they had to deal with some flooding and, you know, driving slow, and they were worried that I wasn't going to wait. I'm like, I will wait for you to get here. Don't worry. We've got you. And then they had an open trailer. So luckily all the gifts are in bags. So they loaded them up the trailer, and they had a tarp to cover it. And they made it back and did their distribution. Some come in their cars, some come in U-Hauls. Sometimes it's comical that we tell them when they pick up, we give them a diagram of, if you have, you know, an SUV, you can fit this many gifts. If you have a truck, you can fit this many. And we've had agencies come in small cars. I think one came in a Mini Cooper, and we were able to fit 100 gifts.
Oh my
But
gosh.
there was barely enough room for him to sit in the driver's seat. And we try, you know, safety first. So we try not to overload, but he was determined to just fit everything in there. So
Like a car.
yeah, exactly. It's interesting to see what they will do to just fit them in and make it work.
That's hysterical. I love that. Okay, so let's focus back on you a little bit. Why do you do what you do?
It's interesting that when I started with the Family Giving Tree, I really didn't know much about nonprofits and how they work. And honestly, in my mind, I was like, why would anybody want to work for a nonprofit when you're not making any money? It's like, but once I started and figured out what it was all about, I'm like, oh, it just made a lot of sense. And I've never looked back to the corporate world as far as working in corporate. But it's just the joy. And, you know, like I said about Shelene, it's people like that they just exude joy and happiness in what we do for them. And so you feed off of that.
Yeah.
And I've built some really good relationships with a lot of the agencies. So when they come to pick up their gifts, they're always really excited to see myself and Evelyn. They're excited to come to orientation. They say that I provide good snacks for orientation. So, it's during lunchtime and I'd rather have them listen to me than their grumbly tummies. So, but it's just that feeling of joy and just knowing that you can provide something for somebody that they don't have the means to provide for themselves. And the appreciation that you get from that they're just appreciative that we can help them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally feel that. Also the donuts.
The donuts, the tamales, the
They like to feed us like your favorite aunt, right? Like,
yes.
it's very, very sweet. Okay, so one last question. What else do you think we should know about you, about FGT, whatever?
Well, let's see. I love to travel. And I'm going to Portugal in April.
Woohoo!
Yeah, my daughter also loves to travel, and I think that I got the travel bug from her because she is in her 30s and she's been to 30 countries.
Gosh.
Yeah. So a lot more traveling that she's done than I have. She lived in another country. So I kind of live vicariously through her. I have a small jam business, so I enjoy making jams and jellies. And the agencies caught wind that I make jams and jellies. So now when they come to pick up their gifts, do you have any jam? What do you have today? What's your flavor? So that's been really fun, just interacting with them in that way.
I love it. And I love your jams. If anyone has experienced Delamore's delights, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I love working with you as a colleague. You're amazing and you do such wonderful work. So I really appreciate you taking the extra step to stay on because you are an early bird and I know 4 or 5 o'clock is later in the day for you. So thank you for joining us. I look forward to 2023 and all the good stuff we're going to be doing together.
Yes, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You got it. Okay, folks, a couple of last things. I am going to share my screen really quickly to give you a timeline of what's coming up in 2023, because I know y'all want to know what's coming up. So let me do that really quick here. There we go. Hopefully this works. All right. So coming up in 2023, for those of you who do the back to school drive, registration opens up again for 2023 on April 5th. That is the one definitive date I have for you. Everything else is kind of like, here's a window because we're still trying to work out our drive date calendar for the year. But back to school drive registration opens up. Then you will get an email reminder. If you've never done it before, consider joining. It is a different type of drive, but it has a different focus, but it still has all of those feel good vibes. And you are definitely still helping a really amazing community. In May, we are going to have all of our online resources available to you for the drive. Our virtual giving trees are launching for back to school again. This is where you'll get to pick different grade level backpacks to fund. And then we're doing drive leader training. I will be hosting another drive leader training session again in May. And then in June, we start getting all of those physical drive materials out. So things like posters and backpack tags, all of that stuff. If you request for it, we will be getting them out in the mail or scheduling time for you to come and pick that stuff up. We will also be opening up, as Shannon said earlier, for priority warehouse volunteer registration. So you get an opportunity to go and work in the warehouse to get that full circle experience, which is really cool. At the end of July, those backpacks are all due at the end of July, because as Jill mentioned, schools are starting as early as August 7th. That is a single digit, my friends. It is earlier and earlier. So I know those of you who are out there that are like, oh, but can we turn our gifts or our backpacks in like in mid-August? You can, but they're not going to get into the hands of the kids before school starts. So that's something to consider, right? And then in September, our virtual giving trees close. So, and of course, we'll be doing another celebration for hopefully how well we've done at the end of Back to School 2023. And then that should cover most of it. So more information to come for sure as we solidify things in the coming weeks, but stay tuned. We are very excited and we hope you'll be able to join us. Okay, so that is the end of the programming that I promised you. I'm going to stop sharing here because, like I said, I do have a couple of things that I set up to celebrate. So I'm at 5:01, 5:02, I'm 2 minutes late, but that's okay. So I've had this thing for about 4, maybe 5 years now. I got it one year at Family Giving Tree, and it has held up for a very, very long time. So this goes out to you. Also, for those of you who did join the celebration at some point last year, I threw confetti everywhere to celebrate. I'm not doing that again, but I did set something up which I hope will work. So here we go. Yay! Oh, there's more. Oh my gosh. I had no idea how this was going to work. Yeah, so I would like to shout out our CFO, Jess, for inspiring me to do balloons to celebrate. And cheers to you. He's our CFO, but he's really our chief fun officer for inspiring this madness. So now I have all these balloons sitting here. I actually don't like balloons because I don't like the way they pop, but this is for you, my people, for doing a wonderful, amazing job for Holiday Wish Drive 2022. And this is the best way we could close it out on a virtual platform. And I just really, really want to thank you all and send all of the virtual hugs and kisses to you for all the wonderful work that you've done. So thank you very much. Cheers.